The newest Pikachu EX card from Surging Sparks is crazy. It has the highest printed damage of any card right now at 300, and doesn't have to rely on any additional energies, your opponent taking prize cards, or any other abilities. It just does it. With an ability that makes it difficult to knock out in one hit, this card should be used all over the place, right? The problem comes in with the energy cost, seeing that there are 3 different types of energy and you have to discard 3 after every single attack. But today, we're going to work on a system that allows multiple attacks from Pikachu. So welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a lot of influence from the more typical Miraidon EX deck. So Miraidon helps you put 2 basic electric Pokemon on your bench every single turn, which is great for finding things in your deck, and usually you'll power up like a Raikou V, or maybe a Raichu or something like that, but we're leaning a little bit more on Pikachu today and Topaz Bolt because it does 300 damage, which I think sounds like fun. That's a huge amount and can knock out almost anything in one hit. So we're gonna go for that today. The Resolute Heart ability also makes it more difficult for your opponents to knock out Pikachu in one hit without having to pop a Dusknoir or do some other kind of damage to it first. So that helps to be able to do several attacks in a row if you can find the energy. Now the energy with 1 grass, 1 electric, and 1 steel can be a little bit difficult, but we have some other supporters to help with that. So we'll want to start with Joltik pretty early on in our active slot. The attack Jolting Charge helps get 2 basic grass and 2 basic electric energy on the board. So we'll do that attack to start, and that'll help Pikachu get some energy. It can help give some energy to Raikou, or maybe even Iron Hands if the situation calls for it. I have had a game playing against Lost Box or something like that where there's a bunch of very small Pokemon on the board early on, and you can just go through and pick a couple of them off using Ampy very much, take your 2 prize cards, and get a huge lead to start. So that's awesome to have Iron Hands just for that reason. We'll also have some Pokemon in here like Magnemite and Magneton to be able to do repeat attacks with Pikachu. So Magnemite's ability, Overvolt Discharge, will knock itself out and give up a prize card, which is something to consider, but then you'll get to take 3 basic energy cards from your discard pile and put them back to your electric Pokemon in any way you like. So the idea would be to set up a Pikachu using Joltik, use its attack if you can find that 1 last steel energy, and then on your next turn, if the Pikachu is still there or you have another Pikachu on your bench, to pop a Magneton and do 300 more damage once again. So you can kind of chain your attacks in that way. You'll want to take 2 prizers pretty quickly, knock out the big things on the board, and get out to a pretty early lead so you can clean up with Raikou. You can clean up with an Ursaluna EX if you're low on energy and they have something on the board like a Fezandipiti or a Rotom or a Squawkabilly, any of those things. So you want to take out the big Pokemon with Pikachu and then clean up with several of the other options here. And as for some of the trainer cards, we'll have a Canceling Cologne. There was a ton of Iron Thorns that I've gone up against recently, some Mimikyu, some Cornerstone Ogerpon, so it's helpful to have a Canceling Cologne to make sure Miraidon can set up early on, or so it can attack through a Mimikyu or, get rid of some of those obstacles. We have a Counter Catcher here, which is really helpful because if we start out with Joltik as a 1 prizer, that only has 30 HP, so it's going to get knocked out, which puts you behind in prize cards, which isn't the worst thing in the world to put your opponent on odd prizes, and then have a Counter Catcher to get to pick what you want to attack. We'll also have some Earthen Vessel in the deck so that you can find that last steel energy or find some electric energy if you need it. Same thing as Electric Generator here, so if you need to power up either an Iron Hands, a Raikou, something like that later on in the game, hopefully Electric Generator can help with that. We have Heavy Ball in here because Raikou V, there's only 1 of those, or if you prize 2 Miraidon or something like that, that's essential to the deck, so you need to find it. So Heavy Ball can help with that. We have a couple Nest Ball in here. I don't know if 3 are really necessary because Miraidon will help find your electric Pokemon for you to put on the bench, but Nest Ball is helpful to find Fezandipiti or Bloodmoon Ursaluna later on, so you might be able to get away with 2 of those, but I have 3 in there for the games that I've played. A couple Night Stretcher is really helpful in this deck to get back a Magneton, or if you had to toss like an Ursaluna or a Fezandipiti in the early game to set up, you can get that back. Of course, you can always pull an energy with that or something, so Night Stretcher is very helpful. Now, Prime Catcher is interesting because I went through several ace specs trying to find the best one, and I kept coming back to Prime Catcher. I did Heavy Belt for a little bit, the one that does an extra 50 damage so that Pikachu can knock out literally anything without needing any other kind of modifiers, or to help Iron Hands do a little bit more damage to take 2 prize cards, so that one's helpful. And there were a couple others. I forget the name of the one. It's some kind of switch or something, but allows you to take all of the energy on your board and put it towards the active Pokemon. And I never ended up really using that one, so I got the most value out of Prime Catcher, and that's what I decided to go forward with. There's a Switch Cart in here because you have a lot of basic Pokemon, so being able to switch them in and out is really helpful. An Ultra Ball, of course, to help find pretty much any Pokemon you need. Our stadiums are also interesting because I went against a bunch of Dragapult and a bunch of Charizard. So I only have one Gravity Mountain in here, and I'm considering either adding a second Gravity Mountain or switching one out for Area 0 Underdepths. There's a lot of decks out there right now that are already using Area 0, so that helps for a Raikou attack. If they have a bunch of Pokemon down, you have a bunch of Pokemon down. You don't have to use your Area 0, but I did find myself wanting Gravity Mountain a couple more times. Just to go over it, each Stage 2 Pokemon in play gets minus 30 HP, so for Charizard that brings it from 330 to 300, for Dragapult goes from 320 to 290, and it just puts more things in range of your Pikachu attack. So Gravity Mountain ended up being really helpful in this deck. I might add another one. We have Arven, a few of those in here as well, because this deck needs a little help with search. It has a Fezandipiti in here earlier on, but other than that, it could use a little bit more help. So maybe Radiant Greninja would be helpful as well, but we have Arven, 4 of those just so we can find a lot of items. And then Boss's Orders, we have 2 of them. Briar, since Pikachu is a Terra Pokemon, if the opponent gets down to 2 prize cards, there's an opportunity to take an extra prize card there ourselves. So we always got to have Briar in there. We have 2 Iono. We also have a Penny in this deck, which is pretty helpful because if your opponent attacks Pikachu and isn't able to knock it out, you can just pick it up, take the damage off, and put it right back down with all of the cards that you had on it before, and start reattaching to Pikachu without losing those 2 prize cards. We have a Forest Seal Stone because that can attach to Raikou for some more search, and then a Rescue Board. And Rescue Board is super helpful. This is usually my first Arven search for the tool because it can help get Joltik into the active slot, so Rescue Board is pretty essential to make sure you get that first attack with Joltik. And for energies, we have 3 grass, 7 electric, and then 3 of the steel type. So this seemed like enough to make sure if you prized 1 or 2 cards, you would still have a grass energy, you'd still have a steel energy for Pikachu to be able to use a couple times. And then we also have a bunch of electric energy. That seemed like enough, seeing that Raikou only needs 2. And you can kind of make do with Iron Hands only really needing 1 electric energy and then filling in with other things. So this seemed like the right number for me, but I've seen some decks do a little bit more grass energy as well. So from here, we'll jump into the full deck list and then we'll play a couple games. So here is the full deck list, so you can grab your screenshots and take a look. Let me know if you end up switching things in or out in the comments. We're gonna move our like goal up once again. We're pretty consistently getting 20 to 25 likes, so it would mean the world to me if you could help us get to 30 on this video. 30 likes, and if you find yourself here often, please feel free to subscribe. So from here, we'll jump into a couple games. Okay, and starting out in game number 1, we will be going first, chosen by our opponent. So I'm gonna expect like a Raging Bolt or some kind of deck that wants to go second. But unfortunately no single prizer to start out as we would have liked. So we'll just start with a Miraidon and then Tandem Unit to pick up some things on the way. And no, it's a Dreepy. So they're starting out with a Dreepy and a Manaphy. Manaphy doesn't do too much in this matchup, but we'll Tandem Unit, get out our Joltik and a Pikachu. And it doesn't look like we have, not in our hand either, a Magnemite. So it looks like we prized both of those. And we'll need to figure that out. Otherwise, an Earthen Vessel. We have our stadiums, a Grass Energy. I think there was an Arven missing as well. So some things that we can definitely work around, not a big deal. But we'll need one of those Magnemite. But yeah, we'll just attach for the turn. And that's all we'll want to do for right now. We'll use that Lumineon if we need to get Arven on the next play. But we'll see what our opponent's able to get going here. Okay, a Pidgey and a Dreepy, so no Charizard, as I like to play in this deck. But Pidgeot will be within range of our Pikachu if we can get to our Gravity Mountain. Dragapult will be as well. And they're going to Arven early on. They won't be able to evolve on this turn though, so if we do end up Boss's Orders or something, or Ionoing or something, that could help. But I guess we want to Arven on the next turn, so they'll just attach and then pass it back. Oh, and we top decked an Arven, which is great. So we'll go ahead and Tandem Unit to start. I think we'll just put down 1 Pikachu, or sorry, Raikou. Yeah, we'll just get our Raikou out, and then we don't want to fill our bench up too much because we'll need to get out a Magnemite with our Arven. And then leave 1 spot open in case we need to use that Lumineon or a Fezandipiti or something. A little emote behind the scenes here for some reason. Yeah, we'll get our heavy ball and then we'll get our rescue board as well so that we can get Joltik into the active. And that's a pretty good setup on our end. Yep, both Magnemite were prized. So we can get one of those down so that later on we can get our energies back after we use a Pikachu attack. But we'll get Miraidon out of the way since it's just a single energy retreat. Joltik goes in. And then I think we want to get one more energy here. We don't want to miss our attachment for the turn, and we need a metal energy. So we can get this Ursaluna back later on. Yeah, we'll use Night Stretcher or something. We'll just take a couple energy for now. Attach for the turn, and then we'll go ahead and use Jolting Charge to power up. So I could have gotten a second Pikachu, but I think we'll just set up with Pikachu and Raikou for now, just to leave that bench spot open in case I can't find Area 0 in a bit. We'll go back to our opponent. So on our next turn, if they do end up evolving into a Dragapult, looks like, yeah, they could take out our Joltik and also a Magnemite, or if they have a boss of some sort, they could get our Raikou and also our Magnemite. So they could have a 3-prize turn here, unfortunately. We'll see if they're able to get either a fire energy. Yeah, they can't use Sparkling Crystal because they already attached a tool. So they just need a switch and an energy. Okay, there's the energy. So they just need they don't have any cards in their hand. So yeah, that's all they could do, luckily. And back to us. So in this turn, I think we want to evolve that Magnemite to a Magneton so that when we use this Pikachu attack, we can follow up with attack on the next turn. So I think that means this Lumineon needs to find another Arven. Arven is kind of like one of our only searches in this deck, so I don't know if that's something I need to switch up for the future. So we'll get that, and then our Forest Seal Stone. We will be short on a Gravity Mountain though. I guess that would be the Forest Seal Stone. Oh, and Prime Catcher. Prime Catcher is definitely the right answer here, I think. So I switch Pikachu in. Yeah. Forest Seal Stone then gets me Gravity Mountain. Okay, we have a knockout on Dragapult here. Yeah, we definitely do. Okay, so Forest Seal Stone can go down, and we can immediately use Star Alchemy. Go and get our Gravity Mountain. And even if they get rid of this stadium afterwards, we can still knock out Pidgey, and then we can maybe try a hands play or something to knock out that Manaphy, or use Raikou to knock out a couple things. So yeah, this at least makes it difficult on them. We'll go ahead and attach for turn. Miraidon does 220, so we could maybe do that in the future. And then yeah, all we have to do is get to another, a Magneton in the next turn for another attack on Pidgeot, or try and get Iron Hands out in that slot when we pop the Magnemite. So yeah, that just makes it difficult on them. They used a lot and they have nothing in their hand. Oh, that's gonna be it. All right, so quick game, but Pikachu and the 300 damage did a ton. So jumping into game number 2, we will be going second in this game here. We'll see what happens in our hand to start out. And again, all 2 prizers. So would love to get a Joltik off the jump here one of these times. We'll put Pikachu in first, just because that can survive a hit if it gets stuck and we can't get it out of the way. Yeah, we'll want the other 2 with Miraidon and Raikou, so those are just going to go down either way. I guess we don't know that Raikou should go down yet, but too late. So a Nest Ball will show us what our opponent is playing, because Manaphy doesn't give us much. Fan Rotom, so it could be like a Terapagos. Could be a couple different things in the current meta, but we'll see from this. If there's a couple of Hoothoots or a Pidgey. Both of those things most likely. But yeah, I see Arven in our hand, which is great. So that'll help us get to what we need. Yeah, Pidgey, Hoothoot as expected. See if they have a Terapagos in their hand. Fire energy is interesting. I wonder what that means. Oh, okay, so we have two Arvens here. We'll go ahead and tandem unit to start out. Get our usual Joltik, and then since there are so many things on the bench that are easy to knock out, and, you know, normal type or weak to lightning, we'll get Iron Hands, because I feel like that will definitely come in handy over Raikou. So yeah, we probably didn't need to put down Raikou quite yet. It's just kind of a liability right now on the bench, seeing that we're probably not going to use that right away. But either way, we'll get some energy with Earthen Vessel, and we'll go ahead and get our Rescue Board so we can get Joltik. Yeah, get Joltik into the active. Put that on Pikachu, and then I don't want to use this Steel Energy on Joltik because I need that for Pikachu's. But we'll get this out of the way, put Joltik in, and then go ahead and use our Earthen Vessel. Yeah, I'm considering Lumineon in that last spot, but I think we'll just toss that because we don't need it quite at the moment. We can get it back later if we need to. Just need electric energy for now since we have a steel in our hand. So yeah, we'll go ahead and attach and then get some energy flowing here. So 2 of our grass energy, 2 electric, and I think we're gonna go 2 and 2 here with Pikachu and then Iron Hands. Yeah, I didn't know if I should do extra on Iron Hands, but I think we'll just do 2 for now. So there's a good chance on our next turn we'll be able to reach something with this, you know, boss's orders to bring something in, but also if they put down a Terapagos and we just want to knock that out, we can do that with Pikachu. So all depends what happens here. Oh, so maybe it's not even a Terapagos if there's Pidgeot and Charizard. Okay, there goes the Pidgeot. So that one could be knocked out with hands since it's, you know, double effective, or with Pikachu. I think to get the energy for this next turn on Iron Hands, I need to get an electric generator. So they do have a Terapagos. Okay, I haven't seen Terapagos played with Charizard quite yet, but we'll see how that goes for them. They haven't put any Charmanders down. They'll get 2 more items with Noctowl here since they have a Terra Pokemon in play now. But I'm honestly okay if they want to take out Joltik. So that means I can get a counter catcher and I don't have to use my boss's orders. So yeah, if they go ahead and get some energy in some way here for Terapagos, switch that into the active, take out the Joltik, I am completely fine with that. They'll probably try something more substantial and go for something on the bench. Got the stadium here, and I'm good with the stadium if you want Raikou to do some more damage as well. We do have our Gravity Mountain. Again, if they want to put Charizard in at some point, we can bump their stadium and put our Gravity Mountain in. Yeah, interested to see what happens here. But again, if you want to put Iron Hands in, I'll probably have to go for an electric generator. And I don't know if that's worth it. I mean, it's probably easier just to put Pikachu forward. And they do nothing. Okay. Heavy Ball is fine. We'll probably need a Magnemite at some point. Either way, we'll get Joltik out of the way here. And we'll put Pikachu in, because I think this is just the easier play. Let's see. We'll get out Magnemite. And yeah, why not another Pikachu, just in case someone happens to this first one. I think we'll just do the easier play here. And Topaz Bolt. Okay, so we have another attack set up with Arven. In our next turn, we can get to a Magneton. If they leave this Manaphy here, we'll go for an electric generator instead, retreat the Pikachu and Iron Hands. So yeah, we have options on how we want to do this. And of course, we're getting a bunch of things down on the board for Raikou to have a big attack later if needed. Why? Oh, they're just going to try and trap Iron Hands, hoping that I can't get the energy for it. Let's see what we get here. Forest Seal Stone can get us back to Arven. I'm trying to think what we can get with that. We might still be able to get the Iron Hands play. They're going to go ahead and flip the script. Doesn't seem like they're threatening to take anything out here though. Unless they get some Terapagos energy. Oh, we also have Magneton sitting right in front of us. So we could just evolve that, pop the Magneton, and get some of that energy back that we just discarded. So yeah, we definitely have the Iron Hands play. It was sitting right in my hand and I wasn't even looking at it. Okay, here they go. But the Fan Rotom instead. Okay, so they're struggling to get their double turbo energy out for Terapagos. Not that that would do all that much damage anyway at the moment, since they only have 4 things on their bench. But are they just going to put 70 damage down? Yep, that's all they're going to do. But yeah, we can... Okay, another area 0 down. We could definitely just evolve this here. We'll give them 1 prize card, but then we'll go down to 2. With the Iron Hands play, what do we want to... Oh, and that's it. Okay, they saw the writing on the wall. That was going to be a little bit too far behind for them to come back from. So yeah, quick game 2 as well. And for game number 3, we don't have any basic Pokemon in our hand to start out, so we'll have to wait for our opponent to put down their cards, and then we can do our mulligan. So we will be going second once again in this game, which again I think is fine. We can do an immediate attack with Joltik most of the time to power up if we go, you know, second in our first turn, or first turn going second. So it's not too bad, but of course we'd like to go first to disrupt what our opponent wants to do if given the chance. So here we go. And once again, no single prizers, so we'll always start Miraidon in that case. No Raikou just yet. We learned from our mistake before. We'll wait for our opponent to pick a number. I like seeing Arven early on. Nest Ball's good too. And then area 0. I don't think I've used that yet in one of these games. So yeah, it could be a good game for Raikou depending on what we're playing against. All right, Fezandipiti and Sharkadek. Okay, so we're playing against Ceruledge most likely, which is exciting. That's a big Searching Sparks deck. So it seems like, yeah, it might be more of a 2 prize race in this matchup here, because I know they're going to do a ton of damage. That doesn't really matter against Pikachu because it can survive 2 hits unless they use like a Canceling Cologne or something like that to hit through it. But they won't have a ton of those. And wow, they went from starting very slowly to just flying through these cards. Just tossing energy after energy. Of course, it's how they power up their Ceruledge attack, so that makes sense. Yeah, they went from taking a minute or 2 to choose their starting Pokemon, which if I were them, I probably would have put one of the Sharkadette first and not put Fezandipiti in front, because they'll have to retreat that at some point. Or let me knock it out. That works too. Yeah, we'll see what they want to go for after this. They got a couple Sharkadette down. I don't think they've used Squawk and Seize yet. I've been chatting a little bit, so I haven't paid super close attention, but I think they still have that as an option. Yeah, we don't really need Pikachu's attack to take out a Fezandipiti or a Squawkabilly. We will need it for Ceruledge. So it depends what they leave in front of us for what we attack with first. Could just be Raikou, put down area 0 and build up our bench and take out our first couple 2 prizers that way. There's the Squawk. I also could just use this area 0 to get rid of their Pokestops so they don't have free discard of those energies. They might have another one soon afterwards, but at least make them use the cards or, you know, spend something to go find it. But yeah, we'll start with Tandem Unit. As usual, get our Joltik and our Pikachu. Could get hands, but I don't think we're going to be able to get to a Charcadet very easily, so we'll leave that for now. Don't know if I need a Raikou just yet, but I guess I do want to power it up. Let's see if we can get our Magnemite first. So we have a backup Pikachu attack in the future. Yeah, I think we want to use Raikou. If they leave this Fez there for another turn, which is doubtful. Get rid of their Pokestop. Again, that might just get knocked out again, but I want to make sure they have to go find a Pokestop. We will Arven. I guess this is more for the... Yeah, we'll Earthed Vessel, because this is more for our rescue board here. But we can get some electric energy on our next turn if we need to with Earthen Vessel, or whatever type we need. But we'll get Miraidon out of the way. We have that metal energy for Pikachu for our next turn as well, so we'll see if we get Iodoed or something. But we have those just in case we need them. Get Pikachu going, and then yeah, we'll have Raikou here just in case. I would imagine they get that Fezandipiti out of the way here. But if not, we can build up our bench a little bit and take it out with Raikou. Okay, or not. Charcadet goes in, and they get their Pokestop back, so that's not surprising. But we can always get to another Area 0. Discarded more energy. So yeah, if they wanted to take out Joltik here, that's fine with me. Not the biggest deal, and puts them down to 5 prize cards, which is awkward for later. Although I think Ceruledge is a Terra Pokemon, so if they have a Briar, we want to make sure we stay away from 2 prize cards. But we could also do that back to them if we end up in an odd situation ourselves. Okay, so they're just going to leave that single prizer forward, which is awkward for me. I don't have a way to attack anything else. Yeah, like no boss, no way to get to. I could Pokestop, but I don't want to lose valuable resources here, or Pokemon that I want to get back in the future. Let's see. Is there anything we want to get with Tandem Unit? I guess a second Pikachu. Just in case we need to pick one up with Penny or something, because it looks like we're not going to get the first 2 prizer here. Now I'm wishing I did grab hands earlier, so I could have taken this here. I guess they wouldn't have put forward this Pokemon, but anyways, I guess we're just going to have to take Fleet-Footed. I always forget about this ability. Alright, a Night Stretcher. Doesn't hurt. Yeah, don't love it, but we're going to have to take the first prize here. Bring us down to 5. So that's a little bit awkward, but I feel like we should get something going. And so we can't just leave them sitting there and not attack for another turn. I guess we could have. I'm trying to decide if that was the right move or not. We'll see. Legacy Energy, okay. So that'll take... If we end up attacking that later, that'll put us back to even prize cards. But that does take away 1 prize card from us if we knock out that Charcadet or Ceruledge in the future. But yeah, once they get these evolved... Okay, Judge. I'm not super attached to what's in my hand right now. But once I get to Ceruledge, we'll want to switch in Pikachu and start going down that path. Here we go. Okay. So I'm sure they have enough. I don't know how many energy they've thrown away at this point, but they definitely have to have enough to get rid of Raikou. Maybe we can Night Stretcher that back if we're going to use our Forest Seal Stone at some point later in the game. And I just have that single lightning energy in the discard so far. Not much else I'd want to Night Stretcher back though. Let's see if there's anything else they want to do. Yeah, I think if they stick on this path, so they knock out Raikou here, they'll probably want to work around Pikachu for their next attack. So they'll go down to 4. They might go for that Miraidon on the next turn and go down to 2. And then that sets us up for our last attack with Pikachu to use Briar and take the last 3 prize cards. So I think I like the way that looks. And that'll save us from taking that awkward first prize card in our last turn. So I think I want Arven here, which means Lumineon goes down. It's another liability, but they could take out Lumineon in the same way they could take out Miraidon. So not too big of a deal. We'll go ahead and get Arven. I think Arven will help us get our Magneton. Went right past it, so at the beginning. So that, as well as, I think the Forest Seal Stone is all the other tool that's here, but unfortunately no Raikou. So we did just fill up that bench space. All right, quick timeout. I'm editing this and I gotta say something. I'm staring directly at this Forest Seal Stone that I just pulled, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't use it. I was sure I had to attach it to Raikou, even though I have a Lumineon sitting right here, and it's driving me crazy. So if you ever want to get better at this game, watch yourself play some games back, record them and watch them again, because you'll see the mistakes you made, the plays you could have made, and hopefully you'll get better and not make silly mistakes like this. So just had to address it. Sorry about that, but that Forest Seal Stone is going to stay there. All right, back to the video. If we could get our Area 0 back, we can get a Raikou back and then Forest Seal Stone on that, but that's not an option for right now. Can't use these two, so we'll discard those. Get our Magneton. So this will set up our attack next turn. And we'll just have to try and find Briar at that point. Because again, I'm gonna assume they want to work around Pikachu here. We'll put this Metal Energy. Yeah, I think that'll do it for now. Goodbye to Ceruledge. Big 300 damage. So we have our attack for next time. So they could either work around Pikachu and attack Miraidon. They could go, I don't think there's any reason they would go for a single prizer. I mean, I guess if they took out our Magneton here, we don't really have an attack. We'd have to try and get some electric generators or something to power up Miraidon, which is awkward, which isn't enough to knock out. So yeah, I mean, they'd put us in a tough spot if they went for Magneton here. I guess I would just put maybe Joltik forward and attach to Pikachu. Oh, okay, there goes another Judge. Okay, well they put Briar in our hand. They're gonna Pokemon Catcher, maybe for that Magneton. They didn't get it, okay. Or if they wanted to work around Pikachu just to get to a Miraidon here. All right, so that was it. Their Pokemon Catcher was the only option they had to go for something else, and they're just gonna put damage down on Pikachu. So, I think that leaves us with our Magneton play. Although that doesn't put them in Briar range. Maybe we wanted that Pokemon Catcher to work, because if they had gotten that and knocked out Miraidon, I could have Briared and ended the game. So instead, we'll go ahead and pop Magneton. Yeah, if the Pokemon Catcher for the Magneton, I'm in a tough spot, but if they Pokemon Catcher for a 2-prizer, then we win the game. But we'll go ahead and do all that we can do here. Give them a free prize card. Do our attack. And then I think since we're in a tough spot for our next attack, we're just gonna have to use the Nest Ball for the bear. Bring out Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Because yeah, I don't have a way to get a bunch of electric generators. We'll get our bear here to power up Miraidon, and again, that's not enough. Oh, if we could get Lumineon out of the way, put Raikou down so we could use this Forest Seal Stone, that'd be great. But yeah, I think we'll have to see what we do on our next turn. We'll put an energy here just in case we can get a Miraidon attack in our next time. But yeah, we're gonna have to hope for a way to get either... Oh, I forgot about that. We don't go down to 1 prize card, we go down to 2 because of that ace spec. So yeah, we still need to take out a 2 prizer here. Oh, we got Arven though. Okay, so Arven can get us, if they knock out Pikachu here, they'll go down to 1, we can use a counter catcher and use Bloodmoon Ursaluna to win us the game. So yeah, if we draw a boss, just straight top deck a boss, or if we have counter catcher in our deck still, which I haven't looked through prize cards to find out, or not prize cards, looked through my deck to find out if that's still there, but I think we can, oh, all right, they saw the writing on the wall, and that'll be it for game number 3. So that's it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I think this is a fun deck, not the best one in the world, and I'm gonna continue to iterate on it to see if I can make it a little bit better, maybe improve the search and make it more consistent, but I really love this attack with Pikachu and the fact that it's harder to knock out, so I'm gonna keep trying with it. If you wanna see some more videos, we'll put them on screen here, and if not, we'll see you next time.